What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Listen, I'm gonna put a clip up by this other Pan-African. All right, he's gonna educate you African people, you black people from America, you African people who are black people from America. He's gonna educate you on where you are from. All right, because it's the age of information. Ignorance is no longer acceptable. Ignorance is no longer acceptable. Just because you don't have the knowledge doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm tired of people saying stuff like, oh, where are the ships? Where are the ships? You see, people who don't know anything, when they argue, if you notice, I want y'all to peep this. When you see someone arguing, like people debating, if somebody's attack is always just asking a question, asking a question, asking a question, asking a question, questions that sometimes can't be answered, or questions that they just simply don't know because they don't possess the knowledge, but they're asking the question as if it's a question that can't be answered, right? And they're always keeping the person they're talking to on the defensive because the person that they're talking to is always trying to respond to these bombardment of questions and never can go on the offense and put the person asking all these questions on blast about the things that they actually believe in. All right, that's why you have a pretendian. Pretendians don't know nothing about their so-called pretendian culture that they're walking around being so prideful about. And think about and repeat this. You can be proud of your people without belittling other people. So if you got somebody that needs to belittle another group of people in order for them to feel good about their people, that should let you know that inside they don't truly feel good about their people. You understand? They truly don't have a sense of pride for their own people, because the only way they can feel good about their own people, about their identity, is to bring somebody else's identity and people down below where they think they are. So if you got somebody right here, right, and in order for them to validate themselves right here, they are looking and comparing with somebody that they perceive is up here, right? So what they do is they belittle that person until that person or that group is down here as far as they're concerned, so they can feel good. Now they feel like they up. Now keep in mind, this joint didn't move, right? What they did was they took something high and they tried to make it low so they can feel high, right? They wanted all, you can't even see it in the screen. Then they feel high. Instead of putting in the work, right? Instead of putting in the work and raising themselves. That's why we as Africans need to have racial group self-esteem. Racial group self-esteem. We need to have pride in our people, pride in ourselves. See, I'm an African American. I'm so proud of African Americans. I'm so proud of our accomplishments. Listen, there is no story in the Bible. There's no story in the Quran. There's no story in the Septuagint. There's no story in Islam. There's no story, right, of any group of people in any fiction, non-fictional story, right, that has such a tumultuous beginning, such a horrific, hard road as African Americans. We've been raped, kidnapped. For hundreds of years, we've been belittled, dehumanized, and disrespected, and still we rise. Still, we invented almost all of the things that make modern world great. Still, we invent all the things that make humanity able to spread globally. All the things that people enjoy and take for granted. That think that's just given. All these things that you think white people invent, they invent shit, all right? We did that. We invented all these things. We accomplished all these things. You can't take, no matter what you do to an African, he's going to succeed. No matter how many times you hurt, kill, punch, try to destroy us, we always come back. And African Americans are an example of that. We don't need no fictional Jews and 12 tribes and all that. We don't need that crap. In real life, we are the tribes. Our tribes were African East Coast. We were African West Coast tribes. We ain't lost. We was lost. We ain't lost now. We know exactly where we are and who we are. Some of us. The information's there. There's no excuse. The lost tribes is no longer lost. And we are the lost tribes, the stolen tribes of West Africa. How about that? I don't need to be no fictional fake Jew from some place that was picked in 1940s by the Europeans and try to attach myself to that. I don't need to do that. Even if those people originally were black people, which they were, that ain't us. We are West Africans. I'm proud to be a West African. I'm an African American. I'm proud to be that, which is a combination of various West African tribes that for various reasons, you know, got taken advantage of, and we ended up over here in America. All right? And we did all this great shit. Still doing great shit. Still the vanguard for black power. That's us. Period. Everybody looks at us. Yeah, they judge us. Yeah, some of them are jealous of us. Yeah, some of them, you know, they envy us. Yeah, that comes with the territory. And with great power comes responsibility. And some of us African Americans don't wield that responsibility correctly. There are a lot of them who are taking advantage of that position that we have, and they're spewing hatred and misinformation in the community. Right? That's the truth. But there's a lot of good, proud African Americans who are proud to be Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani descendants over here in America who made it happen despite the shit we went through. Despite the shit we went through and still going through, still thriving, can't be killed, can't be stopped, and we dominate every goddamn thing that we're allowed to participate in. And we ain't never gonna stop. And we're gonna be taking over. That's what's happening now. Whether you know it or not, black people are taking back over. It's happening now in real life. But anyway, in the age of information, I'm gonna put this clip here so you know for sure where you are from. And if you really want to know, do your DNA test. If you don't believe it, you don't believe this cell phone that you're talking on, it must be doing magic, right? You just can see me out of a box. We can do that, right? We can make it so you can see me anywhere around the world with these invisible freaking lights and radio signals and we can do all that. But we can't analyze a very big a molecule, right? Look, do you realize that you know what CRISPR is? CRISPR is? That means since we've mapped out the whole genome, we can literally edit ourselves. That's how deep we are. We're so far past, is DNA real? It don't make no goddamn sense. All right? So, listen. Anyway, watch this clip. And after that, there is no excuses for ignorance. I don't accept it. If you're ignorant, it's your fault at this point. Because you don't have to rely on the educational system to teach you again. You can learn. It's in the world is in your hand now. No excuse. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach something. I'm out.
African Americans and diaspora Africans, they are not Moors, they are not Fulani, they are not Tuareg, they are not Tubu, they are not Hausa, they are not Somali, they are not Habesha, they are not Ethiopian, they are not Berber or Arab descendants, they are not Native American descendants also. The Moors, or dark-skinned nomads, was an Islamic civilization stretching from Tunisia all the way to Spain, all the way to somewhere Senegal, Mali. The Moors pushed Islam as far up to Europe as they could, and the Moors also pushed Islam south into the Sudan as far as they could. African Americans come from here. The West African coast. The coastal area of West Africa is where you have the slave castles. This is the area which was exposed to the transatlantic slave trade. Consequently, the tribes who lived in the coastal area were the ones who were exposed to the slave trade. Bakongo, Fang, Ibu, Yoruba, Akan, Mande, and Bak tribes. The Muslims were not an enslaved class of people by the Europeans until later in the 19th century and in exceptional cases. The Europeans had another kind of history with Muslims and Muslim kingdoms such as the Moorish one. The early European slave traders were primarily looking for non-Muslim animists to enslave. That way they could get the church approval and the Pope's approval for their slave trade exploitative economy.